Imagine walking alongside Jesus, watching as he heals the sick, feeds the hungry, and speaks with an authority no one has ever seen before. The crowds marvel at him, calling him a prophet, a teacher, or even Elijah come back to life. But then, one day, as you stand with the other disciples, Jesus turns to you with a piercing gaze and asks a question that cannot be avoided.
"But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?"
This moment is more than just Peter speaking his mind. It is a divine revelation, a turning point in Jesus' ministry, and a foundation for what would become the church. But what led to this declaration? Why is it so important? And what does it mean for us today? A pivotal moment in Jesus' ministry. This exchange takes place in Caesarea Philippi, a region known for its deep-rooted idol worship and pagan influences. The city itself was named after Caesar Augustus, who was revered as a god, and was filled with temples dedicated to false deities. It was a place where people worshipped everything except the true God. It is no accident that Jesus chooses this setting to ask his disciples the most important question they would ever answer. Amidst all the world's false gods and human claims to divinity, Jesus wants to know if his followers truly understand who he is. Just before this moment, Jesus had performed astonishing miracles, feeding thousands with just a few loaves and fish, walking on water, and healing the sick. He had done things that no ordinary man could do. Yet, despite all they had witnessed, Jesus did not want his disciples to rely on the opinions of others. He wanted them to come to their own conclusion about his true identity. The disciples had just told Jesus what others were saying about him. Some thought he was John the Baptist, others believed he was Elijah, and still, others said he was one of the prophets. These were flattering comparisons, but they all fell short of the truth. Jesus was not just another prophet or teacher. He was far greater. Then came the moment of decision. Jesus asked them directly, "But what about you? Who do you say I am?" This question demanded a personal response. It was not about public opinion or religious tradition. It was about faith.
Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God."
Peter, never one to hesitate, speaks up with certainty. This response is powerful because it acknowledges two essential truths about Jesus. First, Peter recognizes Jesus as the Messiah, also known as the Christ. The term Messiah comes from the Hebrew word Meshiach, meaning anointed one. The Jewish people had long awaited a Messiah who would be sent by God to redeem them. Many expected a political savior who would overthrow Rome and restore Israel's kingdom. But Peter sees something deeper. Jesus is not merely a liberator from earthly oppression, he is the fulfillment of all of God's promises. Second, Peter declares Jesus to be the Son of the living God. This statement goes beyond acknowledging Jesus as a great leader or even a chosen servant of God. It affirms his divine nature. Unlike the false gods of the surrounding cultures, the God of Israel is living and active. Peter's confession acknowledges that Jesus is uniquely connected to this living God, not just as a messenger, but as his very Son. This moment is significant because Peter did not arrive at this conclusion through human reasoning. In the very next verse, Jesus tells him,
"This was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven."
This truth was not something Peter figured out on his own. It was revealed by God. Faith comes from revelation, not just observation. Many people saw Jesus perform miracles. They witnessed his authority, heard his teachings, and even benefited from his power. Yet not everyone believed. This shows that faith is not just about seeing signs and wonders. The Pharisees saw Jesus heal the sick and cast out demons, but they still rejected him. The crowds ate the bread he miraculously multiplied, yet many turned away when his teachings became difficult to accept. True faith comes from a heart that is open to God's revelation. It is not enough to acknowledge Jesus as a great teacher or an inspiring figure. Many people throughout history have admired Jesus without truly knowing him. The real question is, has God revealed to you who Jesus truly is? Who do you say Jesus is? This is the most important question you will ever answer. It is not enough to repeat what others say about Jesus. Your pastor, your parents, or your friends may have strong beliefs, but Jesus asks you directly. Who do you say he is? If Jesus is just a good teacher, then his words are merely helpful advice. If he is only a prophet, then his teachings might inspire you but will not change your life. But if he is the Messiah, the Son of the living God, then everything must change. Recognizing Jesus as the Messiah means trusting him with your life. It means surrendering your will to his and following him even when the world offers you easier alternatives. Declaring that he is the Son of the living God means believing that he is more than just a historical figure. It means knowing that he is alive, reigning with authority and power. A personal confession of faith. Peter's declaration was more than just words. It was a statement of faith that shaped his entire future. Jesus would go on to say in Matthew 16 verse 18, that upon this confession, he would build his church. This truth remains the foundation of Christianity. But the question remains for every person. Who do you say Jesus is? Your answer is not just a theological stance. It is a confession that defines your life and your eternity. If Jesus is truly the Messiah, the Son of the living God, then he deserves your faith, your trust, and your full devotion. So now the question comes to you. What is your answer? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more uplifting Bible messages.